Hello, and welcome to another episode of AI at Akamai. I'm Vineeth from Akamai Cloud, and today we're going to explore an actual AI use case using the retail space as an example. And we even have a demo lined up for you. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by a special guest, Thorsten from Fermyon, one of our partners on Akamai Cloud. Thorsten, welcome.
Hi, Vineeth. Hi, community. Thanks for jumping on this stream, and it's super great to be here.
Now, everyone is building on AI. Everyone is using AI in some form today. We've talked previously about the shift to AI inference as businesses seek to derive value from their AI. I'm on a quest to explore this further and see, what are the actual AI use cases that businesses are implementing and how are they turning AI into actual value. Now, at Akamai, we're fortunate to have a front row seat to the AI innovation that's happening all around us. And to see what businesses are actually creating with AI. AI is being used to optimize processes and really speed up a lot of that old school grunt work to help you hit your goals faster than ever before. So whether you are building use cases to monitor stock on your shelves or tracking goods in transit, improving online customer experience, or even monitoring crop health for better yields, there are so many use cases out there that are in production already. Thorsten, since we have you here, I thought I'd throw to you and see what are some of the use cases that you're seeing at Fermyon in the AI space. And while you're at it, why don't you tell us about Fermyon and what you guys do to help deliver AI at speed for businesses?
Sure. At Fermyon, we are basically laying the foundation for the next wave of cloud computing using WebAssembly. And we think that those smart applications, those applications that leverage generative AI capabilities could benefit from accelerating their applications by using, for example, our service Fermyon Wasm Functions, which is a globally distributed multi-tenant service that we provide on top of Akamai Cloud so that organizations can run their serverless workloads with like almost no cold starts. And obviously, coming back to the use cases, one of the, let's say, verticals that we see again and again exploring and taking AI into their existing applications is e-commerce and retail, where we see like a super tailored, hyper-personalized experience for us end users everywhere over on the internet, right?
Yeah, fantastic. I think, I'm really glad that you mentioned, retail, because retail and e-commerce is, they're hot topics or hot areas where innovation is constantly happening around AI. And we're seeing a lot of novel and interesting use cases that are being developed in that space. From virtual fit rooms to, handling customer feedback in novel ways. All of this, has one thing in common, and that is personalization, and even more so, hyper-personalization. So, hyper-personalization, what does that mean? If you've got a Netflix recommendation before, or you've seen, videos on your Instagram feeds that your friends have seen, then you inherently understand personalization already. Now, in the context of retail, it's simply tailoring recommendations or experiences for users based on past preference, based on past behaviors, or some generic, demographic data that can help, reduce the size of the cohort so you can target experiences at them. So what this ends up doing is it enables users to feel like the experience is more personal and more memorable, which ultimately delivers a great customer experience. Now, hyper-personalization takes that to a whole new level. It goes beyond just historical data or basic data that's applied to large cohorts, but it uses real-time data to create individual, highly contextual interactions, considering things like location, time, or weather data, or even predictive analytics or AI, so that you can deliver one-to-one marketing and really curated special experiences that can truly delight your customer. We're going to take a look at a demo around personalization and how it's applied specifically in retail. And spoiler alert, it uses Fermyon's edge computing technology, and it's running on Akamai Cloud's expansive network. So Thorsten, tell us more about the demo.
Yeah, so we are right now looking at Smart Shop. You can think of it as an online shop having different goods that we can, explore and buy. So let's, for example, say I'm into buying a new camera over here, right? So I can go to the details page and I can see, hey, that's the price, that's the category, there's a picture of it, and there's the product description. we added this personalized section over here, right? So we took some identities from the, backend, so from the data pool that we in our shop have. And that consists of, let's say, like basic personal information like the name, age, gender, the origin, but also we take into context the recent purchases of that particular person. But for demonstration purpose, I think it's super, super great to just pick an identity and say, hey, take this general product description right now and create a personalized one. And you can see within a few milliseconds, the AI starts with the typewriter-like experience to give us a personalized product description that's far more detailed, because it knows, for example, hey, Jane Smith, she's 28 years old. She's a woman. Maybe she bought already some tech stuff in the recent past. So it's able to take all that into context and give an actual tailored experience in order to, maybe make the customer buy that particular product even more, to drive ROI and to obviously generate a personalized experience.
Yeah, I think that really showcases the ability of what personalization is, and you can apply that to any context and any amount of data that you have, right? So if you have hundreds of data sources that can help you really nail a very specific type of ad to a person, then you have a much better chance of actually closing a sale.
That's true. I mean, obviously, this was just demonstrating how we could generate another product description, but actually showing that what you might need at this point in time, that's the real power, and where we can unlock even more like tailored user experience.
Now, processing all that data that's involved in doing something like that, to deliver such an experience can be very clunky. So imagine if you can push all that logic right up to the edge, close to where your users are. That would mean lower latency, no centralized bottlenecks, better experience for your customers. You can also deliver a better data governance scenario because the data is being handled in the jurisdiction that the users are. And luckily, we don't have to imagine that anymore, because that's exactly how this application works and how it's intended to work. So why don't you maybe explain to us a little bit more, under the hood, what technologies and what underlying architecture is being used here to deliver personalization at the edge?
So it all starts with the user browsing our website, right? The website is hosted on some sort of domain. So that means that we enter Akamai Cloud through an Akamai property. And from there, we forward the request to Fermyon Wasm functions. So Fermyon Wasm functions, once again, is a globally distributed multi-tenant service running on top of Akamai Cloud. And we use an ALB in front of our compute to route the request to the closest region. So we actually run as close to the user as possible, right? And there we have a spin application. So a spin application is, in a nutshell, it is a WebAssembly component that could do several things. So for the demo we looked at a couple of minutes ago, it was responsible for serving the front end. It was responsible for hosting an API. So that means we host the API in every region that is available close to the user. And for doing the actual AI inferencing, we call into an LLM that runs on a Linode with NVIDIA GPU. Again, this is Akamai Cloud. Still, we are not leaving the network, right? And all the bytes, so all the text that the AI generated, we stream that back through our application on Fermyon Wasm functions again, and all the way down to the user. And in a real world setting, that's more realistic than how I demonstrated it, right? We could generate those personalized product descriptions in advance and take things like, for example, a cache or a globally distributed key value store into context that still runs close to the user, but allows us to, instead of going to the LLM again and again to tailor or the product description for that person and for that product, we can pull it from the cache.
That's a great explanation. Can you tell us a bit about, I guess, the languages that are used, the AI models, and maybe a bit about WebAssembly as well? How are these all implemented and deployed to create a cohesive solution here on Akamai Cloud?
Sure. So every organization has like different strengths, different backgrounds when it comes to building software. The good thing about WebAssembly is that WebAssembly is actually just a compilation target from a developer's point of view, right? WebAssembly is executed in a super strict sandbox. It's blazingly fast. Distribution unit is super small. But the really nice thing about it is that we as developers, we can choose from different languages. Basically, we can use all languages for building an experience like the one we looked at, that are able to be compiled down into a WebAssembly component. And to name drop just a few, we can use Rust, we can use Go, Python, JavaScript, or like we did in this example, we used TypeScript. And it gave us access to a vast ecosystem, right? So we built that demo on top of the shoulders of LangChain.js, which is, I guess, the most popular library for building or interacting with large language models. So once we're done with implementing that, we can simply compile all our source code into a super tiny WebAssembly module. And then we push or we deploy our application into Fermyon Wasm functions. And again, this service takes care of the asset, so the application artifact that it receives, and it pushes it automatically down to all the regions that are part of the service offering. And they report back within a couple of seconds, hey, your app is available everywhere and you're good to go. Right? Because we think that we should dramatically streamline and simplify the way how we can get our work or our applications up and running. And we should not care anymore. Hey, do I want to run this, let's say, again, in London or in Seattle? No, it should run everywhere where we could run it, right? And it should be always available, always fast and responsive. For this example, we took Ollama, an open source, let's say, server, allowing us to run different large language models. The actual large language model we choose is Mistral, but you can pick and choose from huge catalog of different large language models. So we have that Ollama. We deployed that again to a Linode with a dedicated GPU on Akamai Cloud. And all we did is we simply, interacted with Ollama through its HTTP interface.
Amazing. You're preaching to the choir here with the the community and the audience here in terms of being able to deploy your app anywhere. Like that's exactly the sort of multi-cloud and portable universe that we're trying to move into. All right, well, that was an awesome demo. Huge thank you to you, Thorsten, and to Fermyon. With that, it is time to wrap this episode. I hope you enjoyed unpacking the use case of AI running at the edge, and this time in the retail space. As Thorsten mentioned, let us know in the comments if you found this interesting, if you'd like us to dive deeper into the tech in a future episode, potentially, or if there are other use cases that you'd like to see. I'll see you next time.